Well, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, and all right again. Hello there out there. It's another glorious Wednesday, and you know what time it is, honey, so get your crumpets together because it's time to dish tea, and you're dishing tea, darling, with Big Meats. Hey, babies. Hey to all my tea sippers out there, how you doing, how you doing, how you doing? It's going to be a lovely day out here in Atlanta. Y'all know I'm down here in the ATL, and honey, we're having a beautiful day. The sun is shining on both sides of the street. It's going to get up to 77 degrees today, and I'm just fabulous about it. And I wanted to share that joy with you. Right now, honey, if you want to join in on today's conversation, you're more than welcome to do that. I encourage you to dial 347-205-9183. Again, that's 347-205-9183. And join in on the conversation. Today's topic, I'm calling it Be Grateful and Stay Inspired. Yeah, today's show, honey, I'm going to do a few selections from my forthcoming book called Awakenings. Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey. And today I'm going to concentrate on three different areas that I think are most important for us to concentrate on. Now, don't go throwing stones and stuff at me because it may seem as though I'm trying to read you in these blogs. However, or in these selections. But I want you to think. If we could think about the words that's going to come forth, I want you to be inspired to see what you can take from the messages that is going to be given, apply that to your life, and then for that you can't or it has no use in your life, share it with someone else. If you agree, beautiful. If you disagree, even better. Because this here is to stimulate your mind, to stimulate your thought processes so that you can be your authentic self. Okay? So that's what today's episode is going to be all about. And then later on in the show, I have someone who's going to come on who's very dear to me, and he's going to give us inspiring words about what happened along his journey. He's been in recovery now for the last 2 years, and he has become he's gotten to the place to where now he can sponsor other new babies coming in and who's seeking to recover as well. So what we're going to do is have a day of inspiration and understanding what being grateful is all about, okay? So if you want to join me, again, call in at 347-205-9183. If you want to comment on anything that's said, you're more than welcome to. The tea room is open, so if you want to go over there, you can dish tea over there responsibly, please. Now remember, over there in the tea room, it's all written word, honey. So when you read it, you may read it with your own spin on it, your own implications, and it may not be meant that way. So when you're over there, please dish your tea responsibly. Don't go throwing computers at walls and shit, cussing it out and this, that, and the third, honey. We want to make sure that everyone is heard, but make sure that y'all don't, cut a rug or whatever over there. Debate healthily, responsibly, because everybody's opinion matters, whether you agree or not, okay? Now, if you wish to send me any questions, any comments, concerns, show ideas, if you want advice, if you want to do a Dear Meech, I'm such and such and so-and-so, you can do that. Just email me at bigmeech@dishingtea.com. Again, that's bigmeech@dishingtea.com. The website is still under development. I told y'all I keep saying that, and I'm going to keep saying that until the website is up and running, and that way you can go there to dishingtea.com and get all the show updates and this, that, and the third. But until the official website gets together, you can go join in on the Facebook page at Dishing Tea with Big Meech. Go over there to the Facebook page, honey, and the same things I say you could do here, you could do over there. Show ideas, comments, questions, and et cetera, okay? Now, here is my disclaimer. Aha. This show is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters are not appropriate for children or anyone who is not mature to handle the subject matters. Your listening discretion is advised, okay? Again, your listening discretion is advised. Now, y'all know I have a potty mouth. I make no excuses for it. So at this point, if you're at work or if you're somewhere that may be deemed inappropriate, can govern yourselves accordingly. Put on your headphone sets, turn the volume down lower or whatever so that it's personal for you and it won't disturb anyone else. Because you bitches are not going to come to me if you get demerits, write-ups, et cetera, based on you not governing yourself. So consider yourselves warned. Ha, ha, ha. Ha, okay? Now, let me go here. I'm gonna do this very quickly. I want to say hello to all of my sponsors. As a matter of fact, what I will do is I'm going to name my sponsors and give their phone numbers if you want any more information on them. You guys know my peoples, honey. I love my babies. Georgia Peach Restaurant and Lounge, located in Underground Atlanta. She just added new stuff to this menu. I was just in there last Tuesday, and this girl is doing her thing. Down in the Underground Atlanta, most of the stuff on the menu is under $10, honey. It's reasonable. It's economical. You can take the kids there. For more information or to get a copy of that menu, or better yet, go taste that food, call them at 404-348-4300. 404-348-4300. Trade Day Management and PR firm. I love you, Trade Day, for all of your public relations and Southern hospitality needs. Contact Travion Davenport at 678-523-3088, 678-523-3088, or email at tradedaypr@gmail.com. That's tradedaypr@gmail.com. Pharaoh's Treasure Box, fine art, unique jewelry, sensational 3D six-level arrangements. For more information, please contact Pharaoh's Treasure Box at 248-688-5178 or 5179, 248-688-5178 or 5179, or email at pharaohstreasurebox@yahoo.com. Pharaoh's Treasure Box @yahoo.com. Parisian Wine Productions, music to lighten your spirits and lift your souls. For more information, please contact Paris Harrison. He's the CEO at 646-243-9396, 646-243-9396, or email at paris42268@yahoo.com. Paris 42268@yahoo.com. Life Fellowship of Christ Ministries, LIFE, Live in Freedom Everywhere, founded by the Reverend James Coleman. For more information, please contact Reverend Coleman at 313-833-9278, 313-833-9278, or email at mustardcole@yahoo.com. mustardcole@yahoo.com. Each of Vidal Couture, high fashion with a luxurious twist. If you want to see her fashions or want more information, contact Michi DeVille at 313-996-9807, 313-996-9807, or go to facebook.com/Michi DeVille, MICHIEEDEVALE. Big Brothers Network, a new online magazine designed to show the world the class and style of the debonair man of size and all of his admirers. For more information, please go to the website for the latest edition. Please go to www.bigbrothersnetwork.com, www.bigbrothers.network.com. The CBC, Caribbean Boys Entertainment. We cater, promote, entertain, and provide special services with a Caribbean swagger. So for more information, contact Silvano T. DeMarco. Go to facebook.com/Silvano T. DeMarco. That's SYLVANOTDMARCO. Or go to Caribbean Boys ATL at yahoo.com. Caribbean Boys with a Z, ATL at yahoo.com. Kissing After Dark. Kissing After Dark, Atlanta's premier social events for all those who are tired of the same old party scene. These across the ATL where the grown and sexy can become the seasoned, and to go to facebook.com/Kiss Dark. Swirl Films, the #1 urban in all areas of film production. For more information, please Russ Parr or Keith Neal at 910-910-79829. Website at www.swirlfilms.com. I'll do that real quickly. All right, we have special announcements about the event that's coming up in Detroit on June 4th. get all of that information, okay? Also, for program booklet and vastly approaches, I'll explain all that later on in the broadcast. I'm going to be infusing music, an inspirational piece. So let's go here. Pick up the monotony of my voice with some new music, and I want to go and make sure we get this on. While I'm looking for my lesson, let me explain to you what this is. Have you ever felt you wanted to why are you thankful? What is it that you're thankful for? Well, I said, come on, Natalie. Well, all right. She said, be thankful, baby, for all that you got. Well, I want to ask you, because, again, I'm going to be taking the selection from the book, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along to Me, in a meditation form, because it was given for me to share things so that I can reflect on myself going in the right direction, if you will. So the question becomes, thankful for? I'm thankful for. Every year approaches, I experience a great deal of trepidation, seem to gel well with the concept of in which we as a people realize that others are in the point of hopelessness and despair. Our season is most affectious with all the love and satisfaction one receives knowing that they others, sharing a piece of one's heart with you would otherwise never have done, and the joy of peace and euphoria as one experiences care. I have been told by a good spiritual friend of mine, at least one time of the year, the masses will concentrate service, and to let that be the dominant sentiment this most important time of the year. I thought I was going to acquiesce to that point, seem to fully accept that reasoning, because I have to be fuel for those who capitalize on this fate, juxtapose, and connive their way into so they can, quote, be thankful for the stunts and shenanigans. I'm at a point in my life, and I will, or a derivative of it, of the holiday season, it's becoming more of a giz about actually being of good service to mankind and building a better place for all of us. The gimmick, the illusion that because one is showing kindness during the year, that it means they are being of what Jesus would do. And any other adverbial, the idea of being a good person. For a sincere moment and a blissful time of the year, participating in servitude throughout the year, and it has become a lot of those who conveniently don the cape and mask of the ones who damper this time of the year and pause. They're the ones I'm referring to. In addition to this, there are the never like an autonomous response whenever blessing is said, and it is the question: are you thankful for? Are you really thankful to share this holiday season with, or any time of the year with? Create special, long-lasting memories as you embrace, succeed? Or is it just something to say and you hope that they will hurry this thing along so you could eat as much as you are fixing a to-go plate? For your children who have brought you joy, taught you, who have demonstrated that love, stated that they love you unconditionally and are a mirror that you exhibit in an effort to bring about change? Or are you being kind because secretly the person who assisted you into bringing them into the world, and then your carnality? Are you really thankful to call home? Or are you being kind because you can have space in someone else's home, refusing to pull your own, told to clean up or to wash a dish, and or a sister out because you know it's hot? showering you with, or are you being kind because you have determined is your buy myself into heaven card, and you're keeping up appearances so the outside world was the wrong person of God? Imagine when we stopped attempting to gain brownie points with the infinite creator of service to one another. The soup kitchens to beg for volunteers year-round. They will have variety during the holiday season till they have to limit the number of people that's needed. Imagine what the world would be like if we had Thanksgiving or Christmas, but year-round. So that say no, that's so, and encourages them to move forward as a family of them splitting up or the children being forced away. Imagine what the world would be like if we continuously showed wrath and not just a sympathetic dollar bill toss to a name leaving a soul-stirring church service. If we completely embraced our heritage swiftly, and we constantly showed our pride in one another and accept one another's differences as we and not just waiting for Kwanzaa or Passover, Pride Month, or any other special day set aside to where the celebration is criticized and ridiculed, understand why it exists. What I am and what I want to celebrate, part of this thing called life, ordained and placed in this time and space to be my authentic self, to perceive and receive me. I am who are in my life to keep me grounded and who inspire me to grow to my fullness and my reasoning process. I am thankful and visualize things into existence. The power of me and those who are strong enough to accept. I am thankful for the omniscience. Nothing can or will exist. It's indescribable and yet all-inclusive, and it's a requirement of my contribution itself. There's no separation from it. Be uniquely, individually designed to function and still be a part of the collective. For this, grateful, and I am eternally thankful. What are you thankful for? What are you thankful for? Question, and I always wonder, how would you be saying that you've done seems to be in mockery? What something for someone else and they seem to be ungrateful? What something from your heart and people tend to rush it. And for those of us who are spiritual, feel when someone acts that way towards you, how it or your higher power feels when you don't acknowledge that you have allowed in your world, your higher power has given you. For everything that has, and you don't acknowledge where it comes from, or you don't acknowledge that energy, you don't acknowledge God, you don't acknowledge the universe for all. So if you can hold on to how you feel when it's done to you, you can then learn how to be more grateful and thankful, continue to grow in spirit and collective. Okay? Now, how about that? Okay, let me go over here because I'm seeing the guys hear me
well, folks are saying that it sounds a bit distorted. I'm hoping there's nothing wrong. We'll have to talk with Blog Talk about this and see what's happening. In the meantime, while I'm getting with everything else, I want to go here and introduce the next. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I encourage you. 205-9183, 345-9183. Let your voice be heard. Go right here. All right, love is everywhere, honey. That's okay. Oh, that distortion is not another phone. So what I'm going to do bring this down. Okay, is that better, folks? Can y'all hear me better? I think that's going to work. Okay. Oh, yes, that's much better. Okay. Ooh, yeah, I think I need to get another phone, honey. But in any event, yeah. So love is everywhere, and that's a concept. Everyone, we have this old cliche that, love makes the world go round, love this, love that. And a lot of folks don't really understand or take it to heart exactly what that means. A lot of folks really don't understand the idea of love being the most universal principle there is, or omniversal principle, as I say. I say omniverse because if you remember in our English classes, the prefix uni, U-N-I, has always meant one, as in singular, and omni as a prefix has always meant more than one, and vast. And we always know that God is omnipresent and omnipotent and and all of those things. So if God is that vast, then the universe is not big enough for God. God is very omniversal. I have another friend who says God is very galactic because God is so vast, or the infinite creator is so vast. So I've adopted the word omniverse. So if that's throwing you off, that's why I'm saying that. Okay? But love is a universal concept or omniversal concept that a lot of folks say but really don't know exactly what it means or don't operate in it. And so my next question to you is, in what love do you operate? Do you really understand it? A lot of folks think that they're operating one way, but here has been what my observation has been. And I say that this question may seem as if I'm talking out of the side of my neck, but I'm asking everyone who encounters what I'm offering, because one may believe and feel as if it is an easy question to be answered. However, I beg to differ. You see, many may know about the term unconditional love, but believe that it is the only kind of love that exists in the universe or the omniverse. But we all know that it isn't, and yet we still conduct ourselves as if it is. Let me take a moment to offer this. First, there are 4 types of love that governs us, 2 of which we know. The other 2 we've experienced and acted in, but are unaware of what they are. The first one is the most common, agape. The most common of them all, and the one in which most people believe they function under. Plus, this is the style of love that is the root of the other styles. See, this is the love that is unconditional and comes directly from the Creator. To operate in this love means that regardless of what a person says or does, the love one shows him or her is on the same level as one would show to oneself or to those who are members of one's inner circle. Usually, those who profess some connection to a religious dogma or philosophy see themselves as operating in this style of love. Then there's eros. Now, this is the kind of love that one most know and recognize as different from agape, because to operate in this kind of love, one is ready to deal with romance and passion and lust and carnality. Many already accept this kind of love as regular because it's easy to separate those feelings, and because of the connections made under this kind of love. Agape is interwoven into the fabric of a relationship because of the bonds created in eros. Okay? Philia. Now, this is the kind of love many don't know by name, but they know by action. This kind of love operates as a conductor of trust and sincerity one establishes with family and friends. Those who operate under this kind of love demonstrate loyalty and trustworthiness to those they feel has earned a place in one's heart or in one's inner circle. This kind of love is a tester of all kinds of relationships, and it blueprints how we interact with one another on a daily basis. Xenia. This is the kind of love that no one really knows or quite possibly don't care about to know. This kind of love is your basic common courtesy style of love one shows to others simply for being another human being on the planet. This is the hospitality style love that many of us want others to operate in, but we are selective in how we operate and use it. Wait a minute. Did you just use the word collective? Yes, I did. And here's the thing. Most of us, I believe, operate in Xenia style love because it is the most conditional style love. See, though we say we operate in the love of Jesus and such, agape and this, that, and the other, and the fact is, we don't. Society has been very hypocritical and peculiar simultaneously as it has juxtaposed the meaning and intent of these styles of love. We have become so accustomed to being given something in exchange for our love that we don't even recognize that we're doing it. We have become so conditioned to understanding that it's okay to give a hug or a kiss to someone when they give us gifts and valuables and objects of the desire, till that it's the only time that we use the words, I love you, or even show acts of kindness and compassion. Oftentimes, we're too busy destroying and desecrating the relationships we've built by showing all things opposite of love. Let me use this as an example. You're walking down a crowded street or not so crowded street. If we're operating in agape style love, to say hello to the passerby would not be an issue. But instead, because we don't know the person or don't like their appearance or perceive them to be anything other than a child of God, we ought not to speak. And then we can offend it if they speak to us. Now, I'm not talking about the obvious intent to ignore the badgering panhandlers who may have made a business opportunity to cajole you out of money or out of your goods or out of your time. But even in those situations, we don't even acknowledge that they are a part of the creation that the Creator has placed on this earth. Instead, we have the audacity to treat them with disrespect, discontentment, and disgust. Many of us only say, I love you when someone does or gives us anything we think it is of value or is greatly appreciated. When we say, I love you for buying me this car, or whatever the item is, not realizing we have set up conditions to how we exhibit and express our love for one another. With family, we say we love them unconditionally until they break something or do something that will have one to get upset with a member of the family, and then we harbor grudges and all kinds of trepidation toward them instead of being angry at the incident at hand and not the person. You see, Xenia-style love gives us a reason to point fingers and place blame because it gives us an out. As long as we have an excuse, see, what had happened was, and that's why I don't love you no more. See, then we have just justified our actions, and we don't feel as if we should be responsible for them. And here's the secret for you. Anytime you have to ask yourself, what would Jesus do? You are operating in Xenia-style love. Just imagine for a minute if we operated totally in agape love. It's in agape love that we learn how to rationalize situations and see right from wrong objectively and do what's necessary to correct the mistake without harboring ill will or negative thoughts and actions behind it. In agape love, we're able to forgive those who have created havoc and mayhem in our lives. And though we may not keep them close to us, we could still send them on their way in love, hope that they would better themselves and become what the infinite Creator has decreed them to be. In agape love, we would not have all the isms and phobias in our world. If agape love was in total operation, we would not have Democratic versus Republicans, gays versus straight, skinny versus fat, black versus white, tall versus short, and Jim Crow would not exist. I encourage you to look at your life and your world and really think about the style of love in which you truly and honestly operate. Not what you think you are doing, but examine yourself in truth and then embrace it, accept it. And if there's something that can be changed and you want to change it, do it. I'm sure your cholesterol levels would decrease, your stress levels would drop, your angina and heart problems would change significantly, your mind and body will feel more serene in a state of peace. I dare you to do it. I never dare you to try it. No. Don't try. Do. Now, how about that? So I ask you, in what love do you operate? In what love do you operate? Could you imagine what the world would be like if we all just looked at that? I mean, wow. Wow. Any questions, comments, or concern on that one, please? 347-205-9183. 347-205-9183. We're going to go here, and I want to help you to understand something, that when you're being thankful and understanding what you're being thankful for, when you're understanding what kind of love that you're operating in, all of this is to help you to grow and to become your authentic self. You know what I mean? Many times we as a people do not understand that it's okay to just be me. A lot of us say it, but what do we really mean by that? I just want to be me. But those of us who have fought and been on that battleground to have folks recognize us for ourselves, to have folks understand that I'm not like my so-and-so. Even though I'm named after my father, I'm not my father. You know, or I may look like my mother, but I am not my mother. Yes, I'm their child, but I am not them. I am me. All of these selections, honey, I'm hoping, and it is my praise report, that you get something from it that will allow you to sustain yourself and to sustain your consciousness and elevate your consciousness into you becoming your best you. Your best you, not the mediocre you, not the low self you. But as long as we're on this side of creation, it is our duty to honor the Creator by being our best selves. Our best selves. Our best selves. And all I want to do is just be me.
How do I keep a smiling face? See, all I wanna do
Well, all right. Selena says that for me. I just love that track, honey. I love that song. I just want to be me. All the time, 7 days of the week, summer, fall, winter, spring. I am best qualified for this job. I like that. I am best qualified for this job. But can't nobody be me but me. Ain't that beautiful? Ain't that a blessing? Ain't that an honor? You know, a lot of us don't know our value or our worth or what we are or what we mean to the collective. As far as life itself, we don't know who we are because we don't celebrate that. You know, we talk about it. Yeah, we talk about it a lot. You know, a lot of us, we take declarations and we you know, make stands about it, but a lot of us do not celebrate it. A lot of us do, you know, we get bottled up and we do not take the time to really hold true to that. So I offer that to you. But a lot of it is part of the process because we get it. I really believe that a lot of us get it. We just get it at different times, you know. But a lot of that is part of the process. And you hear this all the time, the process. But that process, baby, is real. And everybody knows the process. You know what that process is. The process is all that shit that one has to go through, all the muck, all the mire, when you feel as though everything is wrapping itself around you, but there's no way to escape it. You know, the process. Let me offer this to you, because the process is sandpaper for the soul. The process is sandpaper for the soul. See, it's the end of another long year. Well, actually, you know, I wrote this at the time of the year, at the end of the year. So I want you to understand that at the time when this came to me, we were reevaluating everything about my life. Okay, and so. It's at the end of another year, and for so long I have been having this message bottled up inside of me. However, I never knew when I was going to be able to share it with anyone. Sure, I've hinted at it a few times. I've even presented this concept to a few close people who understand how I operate and how my mind works. But the time to share this in its fullness and in its entirety did not reveal itself until today. When one considers and contemplates the process, one is often perplexed because it seems to have been to be such a vast concept. When the process, Juanita Bynum brought this concept to life in her No More Sheets campaign. She illustrated how the process worked in her life. However, for me, it left me pontificating on all the nuances of the process, how to define it, how to relate to it, how it affects every element of my life across the board without rhyme or reason. The process is sometimes brutal, painstakingly unbearable, and oftentimes downright hateful. Yes, I said it. It is downright hateful. Or at least that's how one may feel and wish to interpret those feelings. You see, one enjoys the benefits of what the process yields, but no one wants to go through the process because literally it evokes the epitome of going to and through hell. And what do we want, and what we don't want to do is to acknowledge or accept the process, or accept that the process is a necessary tool required to bring about the best authentic self. Just as a carpenter, now catch this now because Jesus was a carpenter, just as a carpenter needs his tools when building a home or painting a wall or whatever the task may be, so do we whenever we need to build our homes or temples, if you will, whenever we need home improvement work done or simple renovations is needed for the overall appearance and maintenance of, quote, the temple. One of the tools needed to bring about a smooth, polished feel, a polished look, and the beauty of a project is sandpaper. And depending on how severe the project is, the grade of sandpaper becomes more coarse as it needs to strip away those gnats and imperfections in order to reveal the true essence of a project at hand in order for everyone to admire its beauty. The process is sandpaper for the soul. As individuals, we have been scorned, bruised, tainted, dismayed, manhandled, bamboozled, hoodwinked, cajoled, and plain old damaged. We have come into any situation with preconceived notions, judgment, ridicule, and banter as a means to keep us from being processed. As individuals, we never view ourselves as with our faults and idiosyncrasies, yet we are quick to exercise our self-appointed rights to deputize ourselves as fault and sinner police officers, and we will give any and everyone a citation if they are not willing to be processed. Yes, the process is sandpaper for the soul. Upon accepting this challenge to become your authentic self, one must understand that there is no time limit to the process. And most times it's a lifelong process as we are growing and becoming each and every single day that we are on this side of creation, benefiting from the gifts of life, breath, food, shelter, water, and the carnal pleasures we have become accustomed to. Yet we act as if we don't know how to survive without them. The process is activated in a controlled environment that dictates exactly what areas need to be re-examined, reproached, rebuked, remodeled, and reconciled with the collective of self. The process tears away all the layers of grit, grime, grease, gruel, and graven behaviors that have become built up like plaque on the walls of the inner soul. The process is always coarse, so it can completely remove all the soot and decay from the bowels of the soul in order to repeal the stench of heartbreak, disillusionment, abandonment, abuse, misguiding, the misunderstanding, the miseducation, the disenfranchisement left behind to blindly intoxicate one into an altered state of authenticity. The process is designed to polish the soul as it brings forth the true essence of the spiritual self and providing comfort and solutions on how to coexist with the natural self in perfect harmony. The process always goes along the grain as it permeates through the resistance. Once one has built, because all of the gunk of proper circumstances has continuously been going against the grain. Therefore, resulting in one developing a strong defensive tactics which prevent the authentic self from blossoming. The process is sandpaper for the soul, breaking down each layer of unjust and anti-spiritual antagonistic thought, feeling, action, and reaction as it purges one's heart, mind, body, and spirit. Now, once the process begins, there is no turning back. The process directs itself along the path of healing and cleansing and works just like a laxative that loosens up the toxins throughout the trapped and intertwined, that have been trapped and intertwined into the fabric and the cellular structure of one's existence. The process is no respecter of person and does not show favoritism because of one's social economic background or status. Is on a mission to transcend, transmogrify, transition, and to transport the living soul of the host of the host it's working on into its higher level of existence and interpretation. It is only then that the vessel, the host, the person, the creation will be seen as a precious jewel, as the precious jewel it is versus the lump of coal that it has cocooned it for so long. It is then that the process shows one their value as a part of the creation. It is then that it appreciates, acknowledges, and accepts that they are priceless. You are priceless. You are priceless. You are priceless. Ashe, so it is, and so it shall be. The process is sandpaper for the soul. Yes. Now, and along in that process, one have to understand, like I said, it's like going through hell. You got to go to hell. You're going through hell. You got to get on the other side of hell. But you will experience that. And I have someone that's about to come on now that we're going to talk about the process. Because in becoming the authentic self, the turns and decisions that we made a while ago in our younger days or in the days of old or whatever, you are now reaping the benefits. See, when you plant seeds, seeds are going to have a harvest time. And you can never expect that you're not going to reap what you have just sown because everything has a harvest. So you may be good today, but some of that gone through stuff that we're going through, and you don't know where it comes from, look back over the seeds that you planted. If you planted negative seeds and this, that, and the other, it's got its harvest time. So now you've got to wait until that harvest time is over. You've got to plant new seeds and then move forward. So now, without any further ado, let me bring on someone who has now become a mentor to new babies who are going through their process. And this young man, I've been knowing him since 1988. We've just reconnected after a 19-year loss between us. But during that time, he's had to process, and so have I. So without any further ado, Michael, I need you to come on in and to talk to the folks out here for me. Hey, baby.
Good morning.
What's going on, darling?
Not much enjoying this beautiful Atlanta weather today.
Well, thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Charlie. But yes, darling. So now here's the thing that I want you to sit back and do, because as we talked about, you've heard the show, and we've talked about, what are you thankful for, what love do you operate in, and we've talked about the process. And all of those are interconnected, especially when you tell your story. So answer those questions as you're telling your story about your process and your journey. First, start with, what are you thankful for?
Well, I'm thankful for waking up another day and having a connection with a higher power of my own understanding, and to be able to have power over how I walk through my day-to-day. It's a wonderful thing to have to go through things and walk through things, and I can look at them positively or look at them negatively today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful for all the experiences that has got me where I'm at today. But, before I really go into where I'm at today, I have to let y'all know where I came from.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a household. I was 4 years old. My earliest tragedy was 4 years old, coming into the house, finding my mother dead, and then also finding out that she had killed herself. And I grew up as a child, and I had a lot of abandonment issues from that because, I couldn't understand, why would my mother leave me? Why would she leave me? And as a part of growing up with that, I sought out validation. I wanted to feel wanted. I wanted to feel a part of. I wanted to feel loved. And I was raised by my aunt and uncle. They were 60 years my senior, good church-going religious people, and they raised me the best way they knew how. They were very loving and they were very nurturing. But there was that age gap. I didn't have the normal childhood where a father would run through the park with his son or just toss his son in the air and catch him. I didn't have that relationship. And so I felt deprived. I felt deprived, and I felt like something unjust had been done to me in my life. And as I grew older, that those feelings, they grew stronger, and so it made me try harder to seek love and seek validation by other people, to the extent of trying to buy friendships, seeking love through sexual relations, and I was always trying to fill that void. I could never fill that void. And as time progressed, right around the time I met you, I was introduced to crack cocaine. Crack cocaine became my lover, became my best friend, and became the biggest mistake I could have ever encountered. But through the course of being introduced to crack cocaine, and it being all those things in my life, I destroyed any and everything around me. I destroyed friendships, relationships. As a part of my process in the early ages of addiction took me to incarceration. I've spent a total of about 20 years in and out of prisons. I was what they called institutionalized, or as one judge said, a career criminal. And in the course of going through those things, it was a way of life for me. It was all I ever knew. I thought that I was just one of the ones who was destined to either continue to go in and out of prisons, and when I was out of prisons, to be on drugs for the rest of my life, or die out there on drugs, or die out of prison. And the thing about it is growing up in a religious family, I had some type of understanding of God, of a higher power. The higher power that I was taught and raised to believe in didn't agree with the lifestyle that I was living. It didn't agree with the drug lifestyle that I was living, and that was the only sanctuary and escape that I knew at that time of that I was, walking that walk. And it didn't agree with the sexuality that I was living either. And so I stayed as far away from that higher power, any higher power as possible. I mean, if I went around people and they talked about God, I fled like somebody threw hot water on me. Well, in the course of that, things started to get worse. Babies started growing up and becoming adults and having babies of their own. And I was still stuck at 19 years old by the time I was 38 and 39. And nieces and nephews whose diapers I had changed were grown and were giving me money to buy something to eat. And I was sleeping in abandoned houses and just doing all of these crazy things. Well, 2005, I was released from prison, and the last day I was in prison, I remember sitting in the dining hall, and something just hit me like bricks. It was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I was just looking at the people, at the food, and just reflecting over my life. And something just said, there's got to be something better in life for this for me. And so when I got out, I said, I'm going to do something different this time. And I got out and I stopped doing drugs. And, I was in a halfway house, and things started to get better. I mean, I started to get a job and get some things, and I'm a member of a 12-step fellowship, and we have a saying, the things that I was achieving, we call them social acceptability. I started the car, the relationship, and I thought I had arrived. But see, the thing about it was I never did anything to feed my spirit or to feed my soul. I never worked on that emptiness, that void I had inside. And so when life showed up, before we call life's terms, I went back to what I knew best. See, the thing about it is, they say this disease, my disease, I suffer from the disease of addiction, is cunning, baffling, and powerful, because when I went back out, I was doing things that I always did, and I went back out. It was about a 2-week period, and in that 2-week period, I became HIV infected. Now, a lot of I'm behind the podium, and I share that, and I tell a lot of people today that I have a lot of gratitude for being HIV infected today, because it's what got me clean and sober today. It's what slammed the door right in my face and said, okay, it's either change or die. Because if I had not been HIV, I might have smoked crack till I died or been back in prison. You know, I believe that strongly in my heart today. So once that happened, I got really, really sick. I had moved to Florida, and I was one for always trying to change my ways in my life with a geographical cure, and it never worked because wherever I went to, always took me with me. And I always took the same misery, the same selfishness, self-loathing, despair, hopelessness. I took all of that with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally got to a point in my life where I said, well, let me try to change me. You know, let me let some people help me change me and see if that works. Because I know the road that I'm going down now, I'm not going to make it out of another year alive. And so I got involved with a 12-step program, and I listened to the people in the program. I read the literature. When we got to the part in the 12 steps where they told me I had to have a higher power of my own understanding. See, nobody never told me that. It was either believe in my God or you're going to hell. See, nobody never told me that you can pick your own higher power. You can have your own relationship with a higher power. And once they told me that, and I began to build this relationship, and things started to change in my life, and I started liking me. And the more I started liking me and continuing to do the things that I was being taught, everything around me wasn't changing, but my perception, the way I dealt with things, the way I interacted with people, the type of people I associated myself with started to change. And before I knew it and I had looked up, everything around me had changed. Well, along that journey, I've also learned that just because I changed my life and was doing different things and established a connection with a higher power, everybody else around me, the world still continued to go on. There were still people doing drugs. Life still happened. Life still happened. And just to give an example of a turn of events, because I'm just over 2.5 years sober. I'm working on 3 years of clean and soberness. And but last month, they call it March Madness because of the basketball. I call it March Madness because of the change of events that's happened in my life beginning of March. For starters, I got a call that one of my favorite uncles was ill in the hospital, and it was also he was also very inspirational, and he played a big part in me finding my way, because he walked basically the same walk, and so I flew up to check on him, which entails I ran into some other relatives, one in particular who had grew up with me and basically been through just about everything I had been through, and he was trying to change his life. So I moved this relative back with me, and, to start things off, on the flight back home to Florida, that first day I lost my wallet. Our plane was late, and I was stuck in North Carolina with no ID, no wallet, no money. Then on top of that, I got back home to Florida. A week from being back home, my brand new SUV was towed. And then on top of that, a relationship that I had been in since before I got in recovery. The other half just said, I can't do this anymore. I want to go back home. So at this point, I was using my spiritual tools that had been given to me, and I was pretty much okay. That following week when I got the call that this uncle who was so dear and special to me had died, then depression and these a lot of these old feelings were trying to creep back in. Then a few days later, I get a letter that my income had been cut in half. So I went from a two-income family household to a quarter of that income. Things were looking pretty bleak. Anybody that was standing on the outside would say, gosh, she's going through a whole lot. But the thing about it was, though, is I had been given that tool to where I can look at the negative or I can look at the positive. The positive is I wasn't where I was at. I had a roof over my head. I didn't have to pick up a crack pipe behind any of that. I had friends I could call.
How about it?
I had people that loved me.
How about it? That's a lesson.
and I have people in my life who I love unconditionally. See, I used to love people with hidden motives. I loved you for what you could do for me, and I didn't even know that. So these things have happened this month. That saying, what don't kill you will make you stronger?
That's it.
It's just strengthened my connection with that higher power. It's strengthened my spirituality. And they told me if it ain't spiritual, it ain't practical. Or if it ain't practical, it ain't spiritual. And it let me know that no matter what happens in life, no matter what, I can be okay today. I can love me today. I had a few more things happen. I fell, bumped my head pretty hard, and was in the hospital for that. And I went to a doctor, and my lungs don't sound really good, and there might be a chance I have cancer. And you know what? That's okay today, because I'm still here today, and I'm still loving life today. So if there's anybody out there that's, struggling, whether it's with drug addiction or if you just hate yourself, depressed or miserable or whatever, I'm here to let you know that you don't have to feel that way today. It's a better way. And we all have to go through what we have to go through. Just like Dick Meach was talking about that sandpaper for the soul, because when you sand it down and get it all pretty and shiny, it's a wonderful thing, and it's genuine. They used to call me I remember when I first dibbled and dabbled with recovery, and I remember I used to show up dressed up really nice with my nice cars and my jewelry and my rings. I remember a friend walked up to me and said, "You know what? He's a dressed up guy this year. I can see you toe up on the inside." And see, my famous response when people would ask me how I was doing, I didn't know how to get honest at first. See, today, I keep it real because my very life is at stake if I don't keep it real today. But my famous response was, "I'm fine." Like, "How you doing?" "Oh, I'm fine." Until one day, a lady walked up to me and she was like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." And she said, "Well, you know what fine means?" And I said, She says, "Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional." And I see all of that in you.
Wait a minute. Give me that one more time. Wait a minute. I got to write that one down. Fine means fucked up, insecure, neurotic,
and emotional.
Damn. I like that.
And I needed to hear that. Because today when somebody asks me how I'm doing, if I'm doing good, I'm doing good today. It's a wonderful day. I'm loving life today. If I'm not doing so good, I can say that today. I'm not doing good today. I'm struggling with something. See, I learned how to open my mouth and let people know. They said a closed mouth can't get fed, and that's so true. If you're going with something and you're struggling with something, open your mouth up and talk to somebody. Free yourself up. Don't carry that stuff. Be released from the bondage of self. But anyways, all the things that's happened, and I'm sitting here in beautiful sunny Atlanta, you know. And I'm loving life today. It's beautiful. It's warm here. You know, I'm about to embark on a trip and go check on the family members that my uncle who were connected with my uncle. And, you know, life is great today. Life is great today. And don't get it twisted. You know, I'm on a fixed income. You know, I don't make a whole lot of money or anything like that. I don't have fancy jewels and cars and all that stuff. But what I got on the inside of me is worth trillions. That inner peace.
All right now.
That's worth trillions. And if you ain't got that, try to get that. It's free. Everybody can get some of this. Everybody can get some of this. It's free. You know, it's a wonderful day to be me, okay? And I'm comfortable in my own skin. You know, and it makes me grateful to have friends that love me and was honest enough to tell me you own some bullshit. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the things that I've been through and the things that I'm going to go through and the things that I'm dealing with today. I'm grateful for all of those things. What was Michi? What was the other one? Your topic,
it was
what was the other?
Yeah, well, see, you hit all three because, see, what you just explained your process, and you have just gone through what are you thankful for, and what love did you operate? As you just said, you was operating in the kind of love that said, I loved you only if you can do for me, which is, you know, that Zinnia style love because it's hospitality. And usually hospitality-style love is the one that's most conditional. I only do because you do for me. You know, and it's selective and all of those kinds of things. So you covered that. And now, at this particular stage of the game, the question becomes, as you define your authentic self, who are you?
Who am I?
Are you?
Well, for starters, I'm a child of God. You know, because I know I've learned, and I'm not a religious person. I need to say this. I grew up in a religious household, and I grew up a gospel singer, and I love my gospel music, but I am not a religious person. I am very spiritually connected to my choice of a higher power. So, today I'm a friend. I can be a lover. I could be an uncle. I could be a nephew. I could be a father. I could be a son. The thing is today I'm just Michael Sweeney, and I'm okay with that. I'm a guy that loves life today. You know, I love to hear a child laugh. Or to go play with my puppy, or just to walk through the park. I'm just me today. And I'm okay. I'm okay with just being Michael today. See, because before in the past, I used to think one of two things. I used to think that either I was less than you or I was greater than you. You know, but I feel like I'm just like anybody else. I'm just like anybody else. And I'm okay with being Michael and being normal because that makes me special.
Well, how about that? Well, how about that? That's the first time I've heard that. And I'm okay with being normal because that is what makes me special. How? That's hot, Michael. No, See where I'm going with that, how it's playing in my head, is so many times here on this side of creation, we're so busy putting up facades, and this is why I say this is all about being your authentic self, because we've worn the masks, we've worn, you know, all these other different trinkets to be grand. I mean, we live in a society to where everything is fake is what's being it's considered to be glamour. If you ain't got fake hair, if you ain't got fake nails, if you ain't got no fake grill in your mouth, this, that, and the other, you know, everybody got all these different kinds of alter egos and carrying on to where no one is comfortable with being their natural selves and their authentic self. Even if your authentic self is different from who you are naturally, your authentic self is the true self. And that there is how I'm normal, and that is what makes me special. I got to write that one down, too.
Well, you know, today I can say that, you know, I have and I still am experiencing the freedom from the bondage of self. So, see, we can be bounded by self. Because I was for so many years. You know, it's funny that you should mention masks, because I really didn't hit on that topic. And it played a big part in my process. You know, I remember when I was younger and I hung around the neighborhood thugs, I acted like a thug. When I was with my other friends that were middle class or well-to-do or whatever, I acted like they did. I was a chameleon. Wherever I was at, that's how I acted. You know, the good thing about that today is I can go just about anywhere and communicate with just about any type of people, you know, not other languages and stuff, but just as far as me going to a convention, or just if I was to go to see a relative and they live, you know, in a neighborhood where the people hang out and stuff, and I have to interact with these people on some type of level, I can do that today. But don't get it twisted and think today that I'm doing it because I'm seeking validation or pleasure. It's just a survival skill that I've picked up in my process.
How about that? Well, we are down to the last, 30 seconds of the show already. So let me take time to say thank you. That was a perfect note to end on, because that's what you did. I learned that as a part of my process. That's hot, baby. That's hot. Thank you all for coming on to the show today. Thank you for your love and your support, and just understanding what today's show was all about. This is about becoming our authentic selves, and I'm going to close today's show with Selena Johnson saying, "Freedom, honey. We just need to be free." Until we meet again, honey, if you love me, tell a friend. If you hated me, tell an enemy. But do know this, one way or another, this day will go forth. I will see you guys at the next appointed time. Be blessed.